A very necessary thing is the mertsem of various materials, difficult, tricky a little bit with a bond. As he says in Russian, they clicked on and turned on. The calibration is done in the first music mode. Real testing tree 44 about 43, well 44, about 15%, 40% wet. Very 15% can be taken for heating, yes 12%. Osh dry guys. I recommend this device. Damn, a very good purchase. I recommend it to everyone. Hello. Who watches my video, but mostly I welcome those who are engaged in wood. Well, not only the masters who make different crafts out of wood. Let's say there are chairs, tables, benches, or something more serious there. They build their own house. And those who use wood simply for heating their stoves, fireplaces, that is in the form of firewood. In principle, I still belong to the category of those who use wood in the form of firewood. Over time, I plan to use wood for making various crafts, as I have a good saw mat review. You can see it now by clicking on the link in the upper right corner. This is a miter saw along with a table, but the table was bought separately. In the meantime, the case and the essence of our video will be about firewood. I think we have all faced such a problem. Or rather, like raw firewood, they do not burn and so on. It feels like normal firewood is brought home, we start to heat it. Nothing flares up, there is little heat. The thing is that they are raw. How to determine dry or raw? There are a lot of different tests of devices and so on. The easiest thing is to drink a moisture tester for wood, so I bought myself such a humidity tester. A professional model measures not only the moisture content of wood, but also various other materials in the household. A very necessary thing is mertsem of various materials. Model here is ANENG GN601. I came here in a box like this. I haven't used it yet. I just read the instructions on the cursory and looked a little, so I ran through Yushka so. The price is small. You can see the price and where I bought it on the Zoom website. So the cardboard box is ordinary. It looks like this, rubberized slightly. The case is quite light. I have already inserted the batteries with your permission. The batteries there are like this. You can put a video to read more. 2 batteries are just a bolt unscrewed, inserted, nothing complicated. You can even give them to the children by inserting batteries for you. If you do not know how to use the display and 4 buttons at the bottom, the temperature and humidity sensor of the slot is removed. According to the principle of the tester, the resistance between the 2 probes that will be concave into the tested material is determined. The cap is not easy, tricky a little bit with a vibon. As he says in Russian, there is such a board with resistance, That is, it is a test cap for calibrating the device, so included. We have 2 pieces of paper, one in an international language. But you all know the language is very clear, simple, and you will understand in short. The instructions here are all simple in a normal language. Everything is painted here, even with pictures. Who likes pictures? And for those who do not speak an international language, here is the instruction. There is also the same thing with pictures here. Well, who is quite already, well, I don't want to say a rude word, does not speak this language, and international, there are good applications in phones. We all own smartphones. For example, I own this Q-Force Pro, and I'm going to show you another one now. You cannot show it at all here. $110 Pro can be put on them. The translator recommend the Yandex Translator Americoso, Google Course also possible to put. But it works in one place. And so point at the text and translate everything into the language you are speaking right and understand. So okay, the instructions are also aside, we take out our device further. So music, the power button was, of course, pressed, turned on, turned off. So what's next for us there according to the plan? And the temperature for everything in case of life is in Celsius and Fahrenheit, so we turn it on. And we see right now I am, so I have 15.2 here. And 46-47% at the bottom, through this sensor here in the slot, there as you can see in the bottom line. The temperature at the moment where the device is located, that is. Now we have 15, and the humidity at the moment is 46%. By clicking the button, let's say this temperature goes to Fahrenheit. Who really likes Fahrenheit? Please 59 and 1 Fahrenheit. I don't like Fahrenheit, I prefer. Aim so that we still have H and a light bulb here, that is, H is for holding these dipsticks. There the tested material can be pressed H and memorize the readings, well, for your own records later. So as not to memorize in your head, and the fashion button is the second. The last red one is the choice of the tested material. Here the types of materials, the first two are for deer. Right now we have the first one. The first line is selected here, so we have it written here. So here is the first line here. We have a beech spruce foliage birch. Cherry walnut, if we press the fashion button again, so where do we have it? We go to the second line. This is oak pine maple. Ash fir eucalyptus willow. Well, let's go to the third position. So switched, yes, the third position is Y. We have a wall made of cement concrete. you can measure that is humidity. Well, for example, there is already a wall ready, therefore plaster or not you need. Humidity 2, no, but this is 4 fans of building, so once again, we press go to the next mode in the fourth. Yes, the fourth one is anhydrous for us. A layer of gypsum mortar, so the next one is the 5th cement mortar we have, and the 6th one we have, yes. The 6th left mortar and gypsum, and the last 7th is a brick. I measure the humidity of the brick. I can't even imagine why Nuno is there, so there is okay, let it be as they say. So what else do we have here? But let's do a test. We remove the cap of the device itself, or rather the calibration. Calibration is done in the first mode, that is we go to the first line by pressing the mode button. Yes, the first line, and inside, as I said, the scarf is tested, and in order to get to it, you just need to here on the reverse side there are holes in which the probes will be inserted. We insert them so where they are there. And 20s should appear on the display. Somehow it's not the first time I get on them. The platforms are made so small, so it was so yes so. That's fucking sorry for the swear word, but what is it there? Well, here's 20 with Pono, there is nothing to do more so that. I put it in and got right to this site. Here the calibration is being carried out, that is, if it showed 20 seconds. Then the device is working well, and will make the correct measurement. So once again, well, I immediately got where I needed to go, but there is a backlight, yes, there is a show next to it if you hold it. Here the backlight has lit up, that is, the room or on the street there at different times of the day. You can measure it without using any flashlights there if you hold it again, the backlight. Well, that's it. I briefly ran through the instructions for you so that you don't read it. You can immediately use my video what I wanted to tell you. Now on your security, you will see 2 videos from the manufacturer about the capabilities of this humidity meter device. The video will be in 2 languages. In English, for those who watch my videos on the channel, in the English version, there are a lot of English-speaking people not only. From England, they're from America. There are a lot of people who speak English, who live in the same Germany there, they're in Poland there, and so on. Here for them in English and also Russian translation will be available, that is, first the video will be in English, then in Russian. You can watch a pretty good video made by the manufacturer in general respect. Packaging box, moisture tester, manual and accessories are complete. Disassemble the back pass and put in two AAA batteries. Moisture tester function description. Turn it on and enter the measurement mode. Select the material category 1. Insert the probe into the test touch point and calibrate it yourself. High-definition backlight is not afraid of darkness, and a variety of material types are available. Automatic measurement of temperature, humidity. Paper moisture detection. Wood moisture detection. Tree moisture detection. Wall moisture detection. Brick moisture detection.
Упаковочная коробка, влагомер, инструкции и аксессуары в комплекте. Разбери заднюю панель и вставь в нее две батарейки типа АА. Вот описание функции влагомера. Включи его и войди в режим измерения. Выберите материал первой категории, вставьте датчик в контрольную точку и откалибруйте его самостоятельно. Подсветка высокой четкости не боится темноты и доступны различные типы материалов. Автоматическое измерение температуры и влажности. Датчик влажности бумаги. Датчик влажности древесины. Датчик влажности дерева. Датчик влажности стен. Датчик влажности кирпича.
It will actually be at the same time. I'll take an armful of firewood. Oh, sorry, the cough is a little sick at the same time. I'll take an armful of firewood today for my stove well. More or less dry, and not just hitting with your hands, so let's turn it off for now, so let's see. To begin with, at least these, well, the word can't be called firewood. Let's say that's where I have a shrub growing like this. Well, not quite a shrub, I'm almost trees. How would I cut off the thick trunks? We'll go into a tree, into firewood, let's test it. Humidity is here, we have them here, in principle, a little bit of birch, but mostly it's alder, so we turn on our device. We have alder, well, as if it is not on the menu, but judging by the density of the tree. It goes to us on the first item on the second. But we have the denser most species of wood, so we need to stick a dipstick, so stuck. And aha, it's not so easy to remove, and immediately the data disappears, so hi, this is too wet for us. So I wonder how much even music goes off scale. From 0 to 57%. That is, humidity, well, with an error. That is, now the humidity is more than 57%. Well, 55, there's something ran like this. But I'm already starting to take out the dipstick. Well, it's clear that the firewood is lying here. It's still difficult to say on the firewood in the open, especially since it snowed here for a couple of days. Today, only the first day, it warmed up a little, about 5 degrees. The snow will melt. They are wet, so let's still maybe feel some of this. Too high, that is, and a red display, that is, very wet, that is such. It is impossible to use it for heating now, of course, but they will give a lot of heat. Look at 56.7, very wet so. I'll tell you, in principle, I'll get ahead of myself a little bit, about the percentage of humidity of wood. That it is desirable to use for heating, well, so that it is less. 25% well, firewood that, well, lie with you, let's say, and dry in the open. Well, there are slightly covered, as they say. Up to 25%. Unless of course the percentage in the barn will be less. Too high is very high. So we have, and we switched to the third mode, accidentally pressed a button, so the first mode is keys, and the second one turned on again. So that's where you're jumping to the second one, or am I pushing the buttons too fast? Here is the first point of Oban about, well, you can stretch it. Take it for firewood, and here it is 48. There is no such thing, we will not take it. So let's try on an apple tree for the sake of interest. Well, live, I mean what kind of apple tree it is. So it will be more convenient here. Also, well, of course, a living tree. So high, so the following is even covered with lime too high, so let's. Try on these lumber about 43, well 44. So the gazebo is for the sake of interest, so the boards are so not visible on the display, that's 13% dry. The board, well, it's clear that it stands under the roof, and under the open air, under the open sky. Well, the roof is really there, of course, that is, everything is ventilated and it's dry, that is, nothing gets wet on it. And the oblique rain, of course. It goes to it, but immediately everything dries up with the wind, well. Also the wood cutter, for example, you have it under the open sky there. Can be covered with something like slate, or something else with a film there, and the firewood dries. That is, you can use a wood stove for heating in the open air, so here is a pole in the gazebo. Here 10.8 is even better because it stands in the center of the gazebo. It is clear that it is completely dry. So the pillar is a little bit on the edge too, as it were. 10,8, 10,6, so meanwhile the firewood in my firewood, is there a small wood warehouse there? There are all sorts of trees that were cut down a year ago, and a few months ago. Some were cut down, some were not here. Let's say birch trees here. I had such a hut at home to fill up with a saw and cut it down. Well, it's clear that the case is going to be raw right here, because you see it's like a cut. Up here it was snowing and raining, so well, try it on anyway, so the red display even here high shows so from the side. On the side, we have 34%, too, a lot for heating, so the other one is 54%, 55. So here is another interesting thing, so incomprehensible, lying around for more than 1 year, about 15% here. It can be used for heating, to drink, to beat. Although it is, in principle, well, healthy, but it lies around for a very long time, that is, in principle. It has dried up so that it dries faster. You need to prick well, they are not pricked, say after 3, 4, 5 years, they also dry out. Anyway, in principle, you can also use everything below 20% for heating, 25% can be used for heating. Well, preferably in the tea area, so that it showed well. Here they are completely dry, well, birch, as if to break off. Well, for the sake of interest, there is no high shows. That is, they ate like a sponge with moisture firm. Rain, well, it's understandable that here I have music, so the aspen was cut down, and sawn more. Three months ago, so well, 40% wet is very impossible to use for heating. You will need to beat over time the same 40%. Here it is, I have a woodcutter, covered like this, in principle, with a film. Now it's raining, now I'm going to collect a little firewood. With the help of this I'll pick up some firewood for myself. And there is a poplar here, you see a poplar here, it is so greenish, this is an alder. And this is an incomprehensible something dry, it's hard to say what it is here. Let's try on a dry pig for the sake of interest, so I drove a dipstick here, 14.8, can be taken for heating. So here we have it. We have green bark, this is our poplar, we measure it so where we have camera 30 and 4, you cannot take this raw heating. The microphone I'll say so VT1 log, let's say. When cut down, it will give about 3 times less heat than dry. That is, throwing one dry log, it will give heat. Well, let's say 100% throwings felled Polina will give you 30% of the dry there is bow to achieve the same amount of heat. So I have here, but there are such dry ones in 10 minutes, so the first position is yes, I stick the probes in. $146, you can take it for heating very well. Here's another dry one, applause. Well, 20% is also dry. You can take it for heating. Here we have a poplar tree lying here. I also stick in the probes 22.8 in principle, too. Yes, it will go for the stove. Here we have what we have there on the camera cannot be seen. So 21.7 will also go for heating, so we have no alder. 28 will not go, let it lie down. Also, well, it's clear that it lies here on the edge. Sometimes I have it lifted up by the wind. This is the awning. And the whole thing gets wet, especially since the awning is slightly torn there penetrates here. Let's say here is the place. This is all wet business here for me, for the sake of interest. We can go into a wet poplar, of course, even he shows high. And the red display is more than 57%. So alder 19 and 4 can be taken for heating. What else is there to measure? But let's try on the second wall, as it were. Here is a poplar, so this is an extra one for us, so 21% can be taken for heating, the same 21. We also take percent there. We can take 15% for heating here. It's completely dry judging by the bark of the pomeri. You can also take 15% for heating. Well, let's take a measure from above. A pancake will fall there. So let's try it on here. Well, it's 30% wet here. Well, it's clear that the awning doesn't quite cover me here. So let's try it here. I sometimes get it here if it rains. Well, try it. So it can be seen that 12% is very dry. You can take it for heating. Well, I won't take it yet because there I have where to take it. Let it still lie here. 11% is also very dry. That's how it would be. So damn how I like this device. Today I'm going to collect dry wood for myself. And not about the touch, I think everyone who he heats the stove everyone knows, so you come like to the firewood so well, you see, like dry and brought home, you start to heat well, Hiroko burns there, and it happens badly even kindles well, and naturally gives less heat, that is, you need to spend the energy for the moisture to evaporate first, and then it will burn well, but with the help of the device. It is no longer necessary to feel there with your hand, and determine at first glance dry is not really dry to take. Dry because, well, look, well, what's going on here? Let's look at it like this. Well, it seems to be a dry poplar in my opinion. I would like it. I took, in principle, into the oven. Well, 25%, 27, well, yes, on the verge, as they say. This is, in principle, wet. Alder well, yes, it is so that we have 37% there, so well, these are dry of course, in my opinion too. But dry in my opinion. This topley we have already measured it. I would not take it at first glance, because it is kind of damp, and even the bark is wet here. But with the help of the device, we can determine what is suitable for heating in principle. The green display is 23%, well, also on the verge, but nevertheless, it is suitable for heating. Although I would like it here, well, if there was no device, I would not take it for heating. So we also have alder, but judging by everything that it looks like it's raw, I wouldn't take it if there was no device. Try on how it really is, but the look didn't deceive me. I have 40% moisture. That's basically pawns would have gone home and screwed up, because 36%, that's it guys here, are my goats for sawing deer wood. Firewood, rather, let's try it out for the sake of interest. Make it out of the logs. Let's drive 11%. It's clear that they have been standing here dry for years, especially painted. Paint and moisture does not really penetrate. That's how it is guys. I like it. I recommend this device once again. I will show you a close-up. Ferment, which makes not only these moisture meters, makes various Tissot H601. In general, guys, damn, a very good purchase. I recommend everyone to find this model too, buy on the Zoom website. It is who does not like SAT, can try in the search engine, nigh this fashion, SAT on the same Alibaba or AliExpress. I know that Russians are fans of AliExpress. I'm not. There was a lot of deception, therefore extremely I probably wasn't lucky. Maybe you're lucky. I don't mind anything please. I do not buy on AliExpress, so you will find a model, buy it, and you will always be with a dry tree, that is. Your stove will tell you thank you. Let's finish this video. Let's go home. I'll show you the pictures on the computer, which are also quite useful. Well, who is not useful? You can immediately squander, like, subscribe, and on this all the pictures will be about, let's say, by type of tree and according to the heat transfer. Maybe someone will be interested in which tree gives more heat. Their oak gives one amount of heat, birch, another their pine, the third, and so on. That is, in accordance with these recommendations from the pictures, you can harvest or buy wood there and heat your stoves, fireplaces. That is, why buy? Tighter there is a pine tree, and throw for example 3 palin pines, when you can throw one birch, or 1 oak, there are 1 ash. At the same price, for example the purchase price. For example, of course the purchase price will be different, but nevertheless, you can play with prices a little bit there. And see what is more profitable for you to buy a pine or buy a birch. I have already run through these pictures, and made a discovery for myself. There too, it was, let's say, quite fashionable now to buy pressed sawdust in such briquettes, and heat their fireplaces. By the way, they give much more heat than ordinary wood. I was surprised a little bit about atmospheric natural drying. It's basically a woodcutter in the open air. The firewood is stacked in a certain way so as not to fall apart. The top is simply covered with some kind of film, or an awning like mine, or slate, or some other materials. And depending on the climate, whether they dry and drying allows you to reduce the moisture content of wood to 18-20 to about in general. Pause and read the text. I think a large sign will be useful to you in principle on music firewood. Artificially dried in the room by a yearling. Freshly cut down under a canopy, that is. Their humidity and thermal conductivity in kilocalories are indicated too. You can pause to look carefully at the plate. Here is an interesting table on the specific heat of combustion of various fuels, as we produce the best heat. It gives liquefied gas 10,800 kilocalories, or 12 with 5 kilowatts, then anthracite charcoal and so on, and wood. Fresh, of course, at the very end at the bottom, the equivalent in the last line of pressed sawdust. I already mentioned in the video that pressed sawdust surprisingly gives very in principle, they are taken for 100% good heat, here in this table. And look at how they give 4.7 kilowatts of heat, let's say. The same wood is dry. It gives 3.9 Q with T% drying, that is, about, well, 1/5. By 1/5 less, that's how. There would be another interesting table, too, according to the types of trees, their heat resistance, and orange temperature. The best is a mountain maple taken. For 100%, the burning temperature is 12, and then there are less dense wood, that is. Mountain maple is the densest, then beech ash, hornbeam, and so on. Here the oak is also very good, in principle, almost 1000 degrees, that is, 900, and in the end. It's a loose tree itself, as we say, poplar 39% heat strength. From the mountain maple and dates only 468, and we all know, and these are such flexible trees. Well, mostly Starnikovo. Type of them, their baskets make all sorts of crafts, usually well, who travels their fishermen hunters, know that he mast sheep. In principle, it turns into water at all, and burns very quickly, without giving much heat for, and, in principle, it burns both wet and dry without difference. Here is an interesting sign, also by percentage. Regarding the drying of wood and by types of wood from oak to poplar, you can also take a pause and look carefully. Here is also an interesting table, also by type of wood. Heat performance and their temperature, that is, from this table it can be seen that ash is the densest, and it gives 87 about the orange temperature. (1044°C, as I said before, is the lowest productive, and gives the least temperature. So I repeat again, I don't know for what time I recommend this device for those who heat their homes with firewood, and for those who are engaged in some kind of crafts made of wood. I plan to do it, as I have already said, I have a saw mat with a table, and on which I plan to make various fakes out of wood. For those who are being built too, a useful thing, as I said, there are already 7 modes here. You can measure E-walls. E-various there from concrete regipes and so on, determining their humidity before the next one. Processing and applying some kind of material, their plaster painting. The only minus maybe I think there is that these probes they do not change. There are E-models that have 2 spare probes included. Let's say they unscrew and change the probes with a screw, well, I don't know. Well, apparently those who are engaged and work there in the same warehouses, and they have hundreds of measurements there a day. Then maybe yes, it makes sense, because at constant pressure the tree it will break off there. then they are changed, but purely in domestic use. I think they will not break well. As if I advise you to squeeze out carefully at right angles into the tree, and also take out any breaks, that is. There is no need to try to stick it into the tree there and also try to pull it out straight on the break. In pressed into a tree, directly pulled out of the tree, then everything will be fine. There is a Russian saying, you can't break a dick. But otherwise everything is fine. I recommend another music once in general. Do not take the trouble to press the subscription bell. In order not to miss the next video, well, I will be grateful for the like. That's all for now. Good luck to everyone.